Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome to tips for mastering your line work with your airbrush. Now you're going to come across pieces of artwork that have got a lot of lines around it, or you need to put a lot of lines in on the piece of artwork that you're doing, whether it's a cartoon piece or a tattoo piece that we're doing today. Now mastering your lines is key, and this is where you're going to be sort of right up close. You're going to have that needle 2mm off the paper and you want that nice line. Now a lot of people try and follow continuous lines and think they've got to continuously stay on the brush and follow all the way around in one movement. You've not got to do line work like that. When you get the trigger movement mastered on your dagger strokes, you can work 2mm off the paper, continuous at that level, working the whole piece at that level, and you can just do small dagger strokes and overlay them and follow the line around like that. So you can do a dagger stroke, move a bit, dagger stroke, move and move and move. So you overlay it. So you're like 50-50 in where your point finishes on your dagger stroke. You'll start your next one just slightly in off that, and just you'll hit that trigger movement every time for that amount of paint when you're working right up close. And this is what I did sort of yesterday on yesterday's video. I was working like that miniature skull with the chain permanently up close. We were just working right on it, wasn't really coming away from the paper. I was working like 5mm max on the paper and just working round. So they're the sort of things you've got to practice, because your dagger strokes is key. Now paint as well, great tip for doing your line work is getting the right paint. You really have. You're not going to be using cheap acrylics to create real sharp small lines, guys. You're not. You've got to get some decent airbrush paint in your brush, something that's going to flow really nice at low pressure, because we work in low pressure. Because when you're up close, you're bringing your air pressure down. You're not running at 30 psi off 2mm off the paper. You'll just have spidering all over the place. You've got to bring that pressure down. So the closer you go, that pressure just starts to take it down as you get closer. So paints, I'm using FW because it works. I've had no dramas with it. I just do the mixing ratios that I hit, decant it into small bottles, and that's my paint sorted. I'm not going to worry and faff around trying to get paint mixes. It's just bottled up, ready to go with shakers in. Colours, we've got a yellow, black, orange, blue, turquoise and red, all pre-mixed. So airbrush paint is key. I'll leave some links in the description to some airbrush paints that I recommend that are decent, guys, that you won't really have dramas with thinning down. You'll get on with them all right. Brush, when it comes to brush, this is tip number 2. You need a brush that's got a very good trigger. Now, brushes that I would recommend that have got brilliant triggers that are on point, on release, comfortable, are the new Infinity 2024 is really nice. The Evolution 2024 is a brilliant trigger top. The Ultra is got a lot of tension there, so if you're working something really small up close, you're going to feel it in your fingers. So it's got a little bit of tension. Great beginner's brush, but when you start working in your detail, you want something a little bit softer. You start to soften your trigger up when you start working details, because you want that real softness when you're just bouncing on the trigger really small up close. You want a nice soft trigger. Custom micron, any of the custom microns on trigger, they're on point. The Iwata HP SB Pluses, they're really nice on triggers. There's a lot. The Krios 771, the PS 270 by Krios, another great trigger. Iwata Eclipse Takumi, another great one. Sotar's nice on the trigger when you're moving back for intricate stuff. So there's some good brushes. The Mobius, another one, is good on the trigger, softness. Now the one I've chose is the Infinity Geraldes, guys. Now the reason why I've chose this with the upgrade that I've done is it is phenomenal. It really is. This is one brush that I can sit with on a small piece of artwork and just get lost in the artwork and just paint with no issues. Check for a little bit of tip dry now and again, and it just works brilliantly. Now the trigger top, I've put the Evo 2024 straight in it. It goes straight in on that infinity body, not a problem. And it is ultra smooth when you're working it. It really is. Really soft, comfortable to the top. So when you're pressing down on your air, you're not getting any fingerprint in your finger or a horrible feeling on the top of your finger. It's just really comfortable because it's very beveled over the edges and smooth, rounded off, so it's just really comfortable to work with. 0-2, I've dropped the FPC valve to this. Works a treat, so I can dial the air in here, set it at 20 on the main line, and I can just bring the air down on this FPC valve to what I want when I'm up close. Everything else about the brush is as out the box, so it's just one upgrade, well 2, FPC valve and the trigger. Job done. You've got a phenomenal detailed brush, guys, you really have. So we're going to, first off, I'm going to project the artwork up. Now, I'm doing this around 200mm square. Project the image up so it'll all be penciled out, and then I'm going to put some Pro Mask over the top and then cut the Pro Mask straight on top of the paper. Just cut straight through, and then we'll have a nice sharp outline on this image. So when we demask it, the surrounding paper will be nice, clean, crisp white, and then you have your nice, sharp, detailed tattooed dragon in the middle. So that's what I'm going to do. That's how I get my artwork across. If you're struggling to get your artwork across, but you've got a printer, print your dragon out a couple of times, one for a reference, and just one in black and white on draft, so it saves your ink. Flip it over, put some soft HB pencil over the back, all the way across, and then place that over your 200mm square of paper that you're working on, pin it over the top, and then go over the image with a pencil, and it will transfer the pencil that you just put on the back across to your paper, and you'll get your line work that way. And then you've got your other piece to the side of you can work from. So that is a way you can do it if you've not got a projector. So we'll move in. I'm going to do this real time. So this video is probably going to be might be not near on 2 hours long, but I'll talk you through, and we'll just talk through bits, the paints, how the brush is going, and you'll see how we're going to go about doing this image, because I'm going to do it differently. If you was a tattooist, you would line it first. You'd line all your outline out first, and then usually you'd see a tattooist shading off that line work. That's how I've had a lot of my tattoos when I've watched tattooist. They put all the lining in first, and that's the painful bit. That's the bit where you're gritting your teeth. And then when they shade, you just sit and relax, because the shading is the comfortable part. That's how I've experienced with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to colour it in first and then line it second. So I'm doing it totally the opposite way, but I'm just going to try it, and we'll just line it afterwards, and that will sharpen everything up on the lining in between the colours and things like that. So let's move in and let's attempt this dragon. Right guys, we're going to make a start. Now I'm going to go yellow first on this. I'm just going to work around and do the bits with the yellow. Just getting a feel of the brush. Moving across to the other eye. Got some yellow here. Drop a little bit on this flame here. Pro Mask again, so it's nice to have the Pro Mask on, because then you're keeping your image nice and sharp. Just going to drop a little bit on that one, a little bit on that one. Right, got bits of yellow in, and up a little bit on these scales coming down. Just a little. I'm going to tint this down in a minute. And you'll know when your paint's mixed right, because you'll know how far you'll be pulling back on the trigger. You know when you've got it to that right consistency. You'll hit that minimal quick. Just going to tint, slightly tint over with this. It's just getting nice just to start working down to them real tight details. do a little bit of shading and just start working your way down, and then you'll be alright hitting them. Right, moving on to the next colour, we've got like the blue turquoise in there. Then we can tint over the top, so a couple of blues. Just going to go in, get a feel for this. Just on this edge. This edge is white. What we can do is we can pop that out later. Do some different tones in here. A lot of this I'm just sort of painting it. I want to sort of see it look. So now and again looking across at the reference, just sort of going along, creating my own pattern on the shading. Hit that over there then. And so we've got room because we're going to be outlining this. Another tone of blue coming in on this in a minute. Go with this blue. A bit of that out in the blue first. We could work this piece for hours, and I mean hours, guys. Just building the tones up, you can really make this a real nice piece. Right, I've got a red in, just going to put a little tint of this in here. This one can go dark. Highlights, don't worry about these teeth. If you go over on it, it doesn't matter. Because you can posca these back in. I'm just trying to keep it as close to as I can. built up a load of the colour sort of off camera, and we're just starting to line it out now. Now I've gone through loads and loads of blacks and none of them are flowing right. Yeah, this paint's really nice now. Just need that little bit more pressure and speed up with it. Moving around this quite quick. Right, I'm going to start punching some highlights in. Just going to start putting some in place. This tone. Yeah, we'll demask it and see what we're looking at. And we've got some stuff to do on the outer. I'll clear some pencil lines up. And just dust in a bit on the outer. A little bit sort of fogging around these parts here. Let's continue that off with white smoke. Sort of going back like that. Yeah, that'll do. in here. There you go, guys. I'm going to call that one done. I've just gone round and just nibbed out any unwanted pencil lines, because you can. The ink settles down, dries down nice. You can just go in and nib out anything you're not happy with. So we got it down. This is what I mean by doing your lines, like coming around all these little scales. You're just sort of on the trigger. Once you get your paint mix right, you'll just flow round and just literally work around the shapes and little tiny dagger strokes to get you them little fades going up around on these pieces. But a nice one to do. Pro Mask, highly recommend it, guys. I really do. If you want to do nice tight images and contain your work, it really gets you contained, because you can just lean over all the edge and you're just working on that little center section with the brush, and you've got all your Pro Mask around the outer, keeping your artwork nice and clean. So I hope you've enjoyed this sort of step-by-step guide. Drop your comments, tell me your thoughts, and I'll see you lot in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys.